gone from 4 exhibition games when you played to 3 now, the talk of going down to 2 if they go to an 18-game season. What would be as a coach? What would be lost of not having the opportunity for guys to play an exhibition game, younger guys, or to be able to have the opportunity to play an exhibition game? What would be lost from that?
I think obviously the guys that are competing to make the team. I think that those are reps like we were talking about Tanner. Brock get a very limited amount of reps in the preseason, if any, and so then you have 2 backups who are veteran guys. You kind of know who they are. They're going to go out there and they're going to play and they're going to compete. But it's the back end of the roster that wouldn't get those opportunities to show what they can do. If you cut from 3 games to 2, I don't know how much of a difference that's really going to make. As a former player, to be talking about now adding those games on the back end of the regular season that's a whole different ballgame.
Coach, Brock obviously is the starting quarterback on this team.
I don't know.
I think it's safe to say. Is the rest of the thing solid or is it fluid? Like if Tanner Mordecai came out in the preseason and played awesome, could he be the number 2 quarterback, or is that not a possibility?
You never know what's going to happen, but I feel really good about the 2 guys that we have competing for the backup job. Veteran guys that have been there. We've got a veteran team that has designs on winning a championship, right? And so you need to have security at that position.
Yeah.
How much does Brandon's experience maybe help him? Just the fact that he's been here for a year in that kind of battle for that number 2 job.
Brandon's experience is a huge factor, not only in this system but just in the league in general. He's seen a lot of ball, been around. He is a really smart and quick individual, and takes that from the meeting room in the classroom to the field, and has a really good instinct to play the position. And he's got a trigger that he's confident in, and all of those things combined allow him to play really efficient in this offense. And he has the capability of playing the way that we require the quarterback to play, to really execute the offense. So he has all that.
Maybe as obvious a statement as Brock is the starter. Dobbs is a really smart guy, obviously, but how quick is he kind of picking things up, and do you see it just naturally kind of progressing as camp?
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to say probably in the first 2 weeks he probably had it down, okay? Then we moved on to talking about calculus.
Is he telling you about calculus?
Actually, my daughter's taking a calculus class, so I had questions. No, he's been great. He's been great, and like I said, it's he's in his 4th offense, I think, in a year's time, and so. And I think we operate a little bit differently, just in talk with him as to the emphasis that we put in certain things. So it's really been about him getting used to that and the timing and the rhythm of the offense, how we want to read it, how we want to execute it, and that's going to take time.
Coach, how's coaching fitting your life and your family's life compared to your career in broadcasting?
Oh, thanks for showing concern. It's been great. It's been great. Like I said, 2 years, well, it's almost 3 years ago now. I guess this was the right challenge at my point in the journey. I've really enjoyed getting back into the arena and competing, winning, losing, having relationships in the locker room, the mentorship piece of it, trying to help young guys realize their dreams. That's all been really, really positive.
In the spring, I think you noted that the one step you'd like Brock to take is just more embracing the kind of leadership role. And he was saying the other day he felt like his voice is getting a little stronger. Have you seen that from him, and in what ways has it kind of showed up through camps?
Yeah, I think that I have seen that. I think that it has to be the word that I would use. It has to be authentic, right? And everybody's different in their leadership style and ways of communicating, both individually as well as a group. And Brock's a reserved guy, which I think that the team appreciates about him. But then there's also times where you need to push the issue a little bit. You need to be accountable to yourself, but also hold others accountable during the course of an individual period, a practice, a game. a low point in the season where you lose back-to-back game. I mean, that's a skill that you need as a leader of a team. And for a young quarterback, sometimes that's difficult. Now, Brock in his third year has the not only the experience, but also the positivity and the results to warrant that a little bit more. And guys look to him. He has been a leader despite the fact that he's not always the most vocal. So how he impacts the energy of the team is important, and he's continuing to grow there.
It seems like maybe that's an underrated aspect of his recovery. Let's talk about like the physical part of it, missing those reps, that opportunity to kind of build that voice that you're talking about. Was that part of this too, or it's like, hey, he got this full off season where he was in the huddle on every play and he could kind of, like you said, authentically figure it out.
Yeah, I think he's figuring it out and continuing to grow in that role.
Is this at this point a couple of years ago? Had you identified at this point in the season that Brock was maybe a little bit more special than just a last pick in the draft, or was it further in the schedule that you kind of realized that you had something special?
No, I mean, he started to open our eyes from the jump. In training camp. He was kind of getting the Tanner Mordecai level of reps,
right.
like 2 here, 4 there, and he just made the most of them, and you could see in the meeting rooms that it mattered to him, that he was able to process it and learn it. So no, we didn't quite know everything we had, but we were really excited about him.
I'm wondering about Bobby Turner. Why is he still coaching at 75?
I don't know. That's a question for Bobby. I'm sure Zell's not going to answer that for him.
I asked him. You gave me a 22-minute answer.
There you go. So you don't need any more from me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've gotten the story. But people say lovingly that he's super anal and meticulous and old school. How would you describe how he's been able to extract maximum potential from so many running backs? A lot of them obviously didn't come in, as a first round type guy.
Yeah. Well, I just have a little bit of a different perspective of Bobby, because Bobby was coaching the running backs and Terrell Davis when I came into the league as a rookie quarterback, and just when I would see Bobby from that perspective when I was there as a rookie, I was like, thank God that he's not my coach, because he was constantly on the guys in practice, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could deal with that, but he is very detailed, and he has so much in the memory banks over the years as to what works, why it works, what doesn't work, and I like to tease him about his master blitz tape. He's got this blitz tape, which is a master. I don't know, there's probably 30,000 clips on his of blitzes through the years, that if one back says, well, I don't know if we do it that way, he goes back to 1998 and pulls up Terrell Davis missing a block or something. So it's just a wealth of knowledge, and he genuinely cares. And I think that this is his life. And you say, why is he still coaching? Because if he stops coaching, part of him stops living. And I don't know, I haven't talked to him about that, but that's kind of how I look at it and experience it. And I think as long as you're passionate about something, you have the energy, and you're able to come back from all the situations that he's been in from a health perspective and do it, why wouldn't you?
Brian, were you a teammate of Mongo McMichael?
No.
You guys missed each other?
Yeah.
Oh.
One more on Bobby. Christian mentioned him as one of the clinical offensive player of the year, and it's been said that, like you said, oh shit, I don't want that guy coaching me. But Christian actually likes it. That's a good marriage. I don't know if you can speak to that. You're not in the running back position, but does it make sense to you that Christian enjoys this level of detail?
No, but Christian's very detail oriented.
Right, yeah.
Who's the biggest hard ass you ever played for? Whether it's position coach or
yeah, that's a loaded question.
That's all right.
When you played, I asked Brock this question yesterday. I said, if a new receiver walks in the room and you have no rapport with them, you don't know them at all, how long would it take you to build up a trust and a rapport? And he said a couple of weeks. You played that position. What for you? If you had a new veteran receiver walk in, how long would it typically take you to
Depends
feel
on how
comfortable?
good they are. Randy Moss walks in. I'll get on the same page right
30
now.
minutes, yeah. Yeah.
No, I think trust is is something that has to be earned, and you can have all the talent in the world, but until you are able to show it on a consistent basis that you're going to do what you need to do and be where you need to be on a consistent basis, that trust isn't developed, and so that takes time. Now that's different for every relationship. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. But when you're a quarterback, you are trusting the ball with your receivers as you get better and better in anticipation and putting balls in certain spots. And we talk a lot as quarterbacks of throwing to windows, not people. And when you throw it to a window, if that receiver is not in that window, then that ball hits the safety square in the chest. And that's not on the quarterback. That's what I'm coaching him to do. So if I can't trust that receiver is going to get there, that becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it takes a little bit of a while to develop that.
How would you assess Tanner's progress from off season to now?
It's where it needs to be. I think he's continuing to grow. He has put the time in to try to learn the offense. And the biggest hurdle for him is just saying the verbiage. You know, he might have 26 words in a play call, and there's only 40 seconds on the clock. So that becomes difficult. And I think where he came from playing in college, like most guys, they weren't calling plays in the huddle. They were in the shotgun. They didn't have play action. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and to be able to do that to a point where you can go out in a training camp and execute, it takes a while. So he's getting a lot better.
Is that one of those things where you get in front of the mirror in your apartment and just start reciting plays to yourself?
Yeah, there's no substitute for saying it. Words need to roll off your tongue. Concepts need to tie together. Formations, you need to say the formation, but you also need to see the picture in your brain. It can't just be words, it has to be a picture. And structures, you need to see pictures as you're hearing it and saying it. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise it's just words and people moving around, and then you're worried about where people are, and all of a sudden you snap the ball, and now it's the first time you're looking at the defense and you're already behind. Yeah. So that takes time, but Tanner has come in and done a really good job, and we're really excited about him. And physically, there's no question he can do it.
You told me in the spring that Luke Fickell gave you a really good scouting report on him. Is what Fickell told you leading into the draft, are you seeing that now on the practice field and in the meeting rooms with Tanner?
Well, Luke said that he was the one guy he would stand on the table for in the draft, and he said that he did a great job of coming in and becoming a leader early on in that locker room, and really won the team over, and then was able to be the quarterback that his senior year. This is a completely different environment. I don't know Tanner's leadership ability in this instance, just because he's not being asked to do that. He's being asked to learn, and he's learning on his own, and doesn't have a whole lot of reps to go out there and show how much he's learned. But the reps that he does have, he needs to take advantage of. So it's a completely different environment.
When you say you want the quarterback to have a picture when he's saying the play call, are you meaning an image of what the play is looking like on the field, or a whiteboard image of X's and O's? What do you mean when you say picture?
Yeah, so not when he's saying the play. I need him to see the picture when the play comes into his helmet. Okay, so we talk about imprinting. Like when Kyle's calling the play into the quarterback, those words have to paint a picture for the quarterback structurally, so he can see the formation and then see the concept. Right? Then he goes into the huddle and says the play in the huddle. And if you see a picture, then you can say the play more accurately. If you're trying to remember the words that were said, then you're going to mess up one word or another, or one tag or another. And if you mess up an F versus an X, then the whole play is different. So he sees the picture when it comes into his helmet. Then he's able to say it more accurately. And then as you walk into the line of scrimmage, you can check to make sure the structure of the formation is accurate and the motion. Now my eyes are in the defense, so I'm able to see the defense and put that picture and that concept mapped onto the defense to anticipate what's going to happen and where my potential throw is going to be.
I imagine that's something that Brock does very well and
Yeah,
probably
it does.
picked up very quickly.
It took him time. It doesn't happen right away, and he's still growing in that area.
Right, most guys that have a long NFL career as a quarterback and then go into broadcasting don't do what you're doing. I assume you don't need the paychecks and need to get into your financial life. But do you ever have peers?
Stock market's down today.
Yes, I noted that. Do you have peers that, I mean, I understand they probably know what makes you tick and everything, but do you have guys that say, you're crazy, what are you doing?
Yeah, my wife. No, I'm just kidding. She's supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's days when I think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I've been a lifelong competitor. I like to compete, and I like to have an impact on other people that are good people that are trying to do good things and that are genuine and authentic. And to be able to do this in this environment combines all those things for me. Broadcasting was fun, and it kept me tied to the game, and I talked to a lot of people and saw a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, it is a subjective business, and there are no wins and losses in broadcasting. And so, like I said, it was the right opportunity and right challenge.
What are the hours difference?
Completely.
Yeah.
I said my golf game's not as good.
Yeah, I was saying.
You're undefeated as a broadcaster.
Oh, thanks. Good guys.
Thank you.
All right, man.